Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Villagers and Villains is a really light little card game with some interesting steps that you're going through that they don't always make sense and kind of fit together. The pieces of this puzzle do not fit together all that well. When you're just kind of going through a turn, they do fit once you get the flow of the game down. So what you're going to be doing in this game is you're going to be building your city, your little village. It will include people and buildings and take that of some really nasty things that will come in and try to attack your city. The whole game is going to come down to rolling a single 6-sided die. You're going to try to get cards that mitigate that by adding to your rolls and giving you more rolls and are in Assassin's rerolls. And that's about it. So you may get totally hosed by the dice in this one. I feel like, if you get a whole bunch of those people that let you do rerolls, they don't score you as many victory points, but you're more likely to get successful at those challenges that you have. It's almost a rich get richer. And I don't know. It's not a game you should take that seriously. This is a little bit on the Munchkin level, maybe a step up, a small step up from a Munchkin. I think that there's a lot here that people do like. And it's funny that a lot of the reviews and people talking about this game, they really liked it. But when you look at it, you're like, I don't get why. And then you play it, you're like, yeah, I can see there's some interesting decisions here. I wish they had a better way of dealing with the mechanism of rolling that 1 6-sided die. I wish there was something else in place of that because everything else around it seems to be decent. Seems to be, I'll say good. Not great, but good. But that dice rolling, that luck that this game has into it, just isn't going to be for me. I like the artwork. I like the look of the game. I like the graphic design. I like a lot about this game. But that luck factor, that randomness is so high. I don't know that I want to spend 30 minutes to an hour playing a game with this much luck. Especially, there's something about rolling 10 dice and the average is averaging out versus rolling a 1 6-sided die and just being hosed by it over and over and over again. Maybe once you get your system going, almost like Machikori, once you get your pattern going, once you get your engine going, it eases up a little bit, but you can really get hosed at the beginning of this game. This is actually going to be a negative review for me. I think a lot of people like this, and when you hear a lot of those, you tend to be a little more positive. My wife and I played it, and she's like, yeah, I like this game. I'm like, really? I thought you would hate it. And she ended up liking it a little bit. Not enough to keep it, not enough to play it. She's never asked to play it. But when she's playing, she's like, yeah, this is enjoyable, but I don't know why. I don't like the pieces to this. But then you put it all together, and it's fun. And that's where this one's going to stick at for me. It's going to be fun. I think if you're a lighter gamer, you're going to like this. If you like the Munchkin crowd, I think you'll like this. It adds a little dice rolling. I hate to say it's a gateway game because it's really not. The way the structure of the turns don't really fit together. It's like you do this, and then this happens, and then this happens, and that happens, and that happens. And it just doesn't really flow together, which I think makes it a lot more complicated for a new player. Like, what are we doing in the third phase now? So it can be a little tricky if you're not new. And those of us that play a lot of games, supposedly heavy Euros, it's going to be bada boom, bada bing. It's going to be so easy for you to do. But for the gateway people, which I think this game is intended for, they may stumble a little bit with a game turn. Other than that, I think the game is fine. It's going to have a lot of luck, a lot of playing cards, what's coming up, even gaming cards, or rolling a die to see if you get it. So do you press your luck on that? Not like pressing your luck, you're rolling a die and see what happens. So it is what it is. As for me, this would be a Purge. That's something I'm going to keep in my collection. But when I say if you like those kind of games, you might want to check this one out. So let's look at Villagers and Villains. I think the box definitely shows you the villagers, but it doesn't really show you the villains. It says 100 unique cards, which I guess is true. The box is okay. You're going to have a score pad, which is kind of old-fashioned, but you only need one for a game. If you're playing a two-player game, you can use these a couple times. It's okay. You can get these laminated, whatever. They're fine. You're also going to have a rule book that's black and white. We'll look at this a little bit further. I just kind of drew my little 6-sided die. This thing is very tiny. You can have a bunch of these little chits. Some will be 2, some will be 1. They're nice and thick. And then you're going to have a few tokens for the start player and the king's favor. You'll have those. And then you'll have a bunch of cards. The cards are pretty good quality. You can see the artwork that's on them. They're kind of played for humor in the vein of like Munchkin or something. Everything in it has great graphic design. You can see exactly what you're doing. These words are a little tiny, but okay. I think the components are pretty good for this game. I didn't expect a whole lot. And I think what they gave you was very good considering it's just a little card game. The cards feel good. They're good sizes. No complaints here. So the rules unfold to be this big blob of words. It's going to be black and white. Nothing's in color, which is a huge... Lots of words. There's some pictures here. You can kind of see what's going on. But lots and lots of words. Be ready. Everything you need to know is here. The advanced rules are put in each little section, which is okay. I wish there was a spot that would just explain the king's favor and have it all in one location.
You're going to have an example of the score sheet here. Not really needed because there's no example in there. You're going to have a cheat sheet for this. I don't know why this is here because you do have player aids that are in the box. A little 2-player rule thrown in and some of the advanced rules that are in here and some of variability if you want to use it in that regard. Rulebook is fine. I think if you just follow along, you'll be able to play the game. I wish that King's Favor was just in a better location and showcased a little bit better than it was. When a player starts the game, they'll get a phase. They'll show you all the phases and kind of the outline of the card on the back. And you'll start the game out with a deputy mayor and an angry mob. And this will kind of start out in your hand. And then what you do is you shuffle all the cards up, and you'll bring 6 of these cards out on the table. And then you'll be kind of ready to go and ready to start playing the game. And the way the game goes is fairly easy. I'm just going to take you through a turn of it. You'll decide which one of these cards you want. Say you want this 4th card. Then you would roll the dice. And if you roll 4 or higher, you can take this card. And when you take it, everything else moves down. Do not refill it yet. If for any reason, let's say the next player wanted this 4-1, and he rolls a 2, was not able to meet the 4 requirement, then he has to take the card at the beginning. So he would take this card, and so on and so on. You have these challenge cards. These are going to be the main part of the game. If you happen to have one of these in your location, what you'll do in the second step is these guys, you will fight them. If you look up here, it tells you what you have to roll to beat it, and you might have a little thing down here that's defend that will happen. In this case, you would need to roll 2d or higher. So you just roll the 6-sided die. 1, I failed, I did not beat it, and then my turn would be done. Now, this guy, this triagonal, he requires 2 in order to beat him, and if I had to switch, it would require a roll of 4. If I did beat it, then I would get the positive gold, the +2 gold down here, and this would go back into my hand for scoring purposes. If you fail, then it just kind of stays there. So let's say I roll these 3, and I beat this one, which I showed you. I get my 2 gold, and that goes in my hand for later scoring, and these 2 would stay in the location. So the third phase, what they would do is they would attack me, and I would lose what's hit down here on the bottom, and the big number, in this case, 1 gold. So I would have to give up 1 gold for this one and 0 gold for this. And sometimes we'll have little paragraphs down here, and bad things will happen to you while it's in front of you, and you just kind of have to deal with that as the game progresses. And it could be an ongoing negative. So like, for example, this one, when you defend the ruins, you can exchange loot box for a die roll, take gold equal to the amount you roll. So they might have little things that you do on there. So the third phase is going to be they will pillage back. Then the fourth one is for any of your citizens that you have in your park. So let's say I have this citizen. You will then get the gold down here. So in this case, if he was in my city, I would get 1 gold. If this guy was in my city, I would get 1 gold. If this guy was in my city, I would get 1 gold. You know, see a recurring thing here? A lot of these are just give you a gold. Some of these, like this one, this building that you can build, doesn't give you anything. So after you get all the gold that you would have for the citizens that are in your city, then you can build 1 from your hand. So in this case, I would pay the amount over here. I could pay 3 gold, and this guy would now be my city. I can only build 1 card regardless if I could afford to do more or not. He will give you victory points at the end of the game that are up here, and sometimes they give you a little bit of power. Pay 1 gold to add 2 to a defense roll, vend 1 gold to you. And if you pair him with the apothecary, at the end of the game, you're going to get additional victory points. And some of these will do different things. Let's see, his costs 4 to play. He gives you 1 gold every round, and worth 2 victory points at the end of the game. You pay 3 gold to draw 1 card, vend 1 gold to you, 2 to the bank, and then if you pair him with any citizen, which is a type of card, you get extra victory points at the end of the game. Some of these might be what they call heroes, and what they're going to help you do is when you fight the challenge cards, they're going to give you additional tries, and then you'll add 1 to the dice roll in the second phase of the game. When you defeat a challenge card, you may exchange this loot box to draw 1 card, and that could be useful for you. So these guys, these heroes, will give you more additional rolls, or re-rolls, if you will, and then sometimes they'll give you modifiers in order to beat those challenges. So after you build, everything will reset. So if there were any challenges up here, what you would do is you get rid of any non-challenge cards in the row. The challenge cards would move, and they would stay out on the board, and then you would fill up to 6. And what that's in essence going to do is going to keep the challenges out, because nobody in their right mind usually is going to go after them. But it also makes it that if you fail something, more than likely there's going to be a challenge here. And then you repeat everything over again. So, very easy. You're going to roll the dice to see if you get a card. You will then fight any challenges, win, lose, or draw. If there are any challenges, you will have the negative for that. Then you move to the citizens, get gold for any citizens that you have in your area. Then you can play one if you're able and willing to pay the cost in order to play it, a card from your hand. And then what you'll do is you'll refill this up and be ready to go. When it get 9 cards in somebody's city, the game will end. Then you'll add up the victory points. And I'm just going to show you the gamepad here to kind of show you how it goes. So, one, you can get the value of all the cards. That's just the victory points listed. If you have any challenge cards at the end, they're usually worth negative points. Then you get 3 points if your angry mob card is in the hand. This is the card you got at the beginning of the game. It's worth 3 victory points at the end of the game, but you can give it at any time if you want to add to your defense roll. You can give this up, and maybe that will help you out during the game. 2 points per hero card to the mayor with the most hero cards. 1 point per challenge card to the mayor with the most challenge cards. That's how many you've defeated that are in your hand. 3 points to the mayor with the most cards in their town. 2 points per pair. Remember, these cards are going to ask you and tell you what the pairs are. In this case, if you were to build the fisherman, you also need to get your hand on the docks. And I'll give you 2 points per pair. Then you add up your totals, and that's how you do it. Whoever has the most victory points wins the game.
Who should buy this game? Light gamers, but you've played Munchkin before. You've played those kind of games. You understand turn structure. You want to take a time with it. Maybe somebody who kind of understands these turn cycles and how they go a little bit better. It'll be easier on those gateway players. If you like the art, if you like the city building, you want one of the most, generic, easy to accomplish village building, city building. This is probably it. I would start here and kind of build up from there. Maybe playing with a family. The rolling the dice doesn't matter as much. You're just trying to laugh and have a good time and screw each other over. This could be it. For gamers and, you're not looking for something a little bit meatier, this isn't going to fit you. For me, it's going to be a Purge and not something that I'm going to want to add to the collection. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel. Lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing.